Well, over the years, I've tried just about every meal planning system, method, and printable out there, and none of them worked. And so today I'm excited to share with you the super simple method that I've come up with that's gonna help you be able to meal plan in about 5 minutes a week. I think you'll find yourself easily staying within your grocery budget. You're gonna waste way less food and cook at home more. So I'm gonna share this super simple system with you coming up next. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from theminimalmom.com. If we haven't met before, I am married to Tom. We have 4 kids, ages 3 through 8, and we've just really been enjoying sharing tips of how you can simplify your life quickly. And today I am super excited to share with you my meal planning system because it truly has helped our family to save a ton of money on groceries. We don't waste food anymore. Isn't that just so frustrating when you expend money, especially on like healthy foods, and then you find it in the back of the fridge going bad? And so it's really helped to kind of transform the way I look at cooking and meal planning, and it really has been beneficial to our family. So here's how I want to tackle it today. First, I kind of want to share with you just kind of my overall mind shift towards groceries and meal planning. So we'll talk about that first. And then I'm going to show you my really simple shopping list and meal planning sheet. I have a link to this down below so you can create your own really quickly. And then my good old trusty dollar store marker board. This is what really has helped cut down the food waste in our household. So I'll show you how I use this as well. And then lastly, just some frequently asked questions about meal planning. Do you buy in bulk, and coupons and apps you use to shop, how much you spend on groceries a week? We'll tackle those at the very end. Okay, so first let's talk about the overall mental shift that I've really made. It applies to groceries, but actually to everything in our house. And it's this, that every single item that comes into our house becomes something that I have to manage. It becomes inventory that I'm now in charge of managing to make sure it gets used how it's supposed to and in time before it expires or goes bad. And this applies to groceries, but it also applies to, kids' artwork and clothing and hand-me-downs and any other thing that we buy or accept from somebody else. It all is inventory that I have to manage. And I think the reason a lot of us feel overwhelmed with meal planning and groceries and our household in general is because we've let the inventory creep up to a point where we can't easily manage it. We can't tell you off the top of our head what is in our fridge and is going to go bad this week, what's in the back of our cupboards, what's in the bottom of our drawers. It's just become too much. And it's not bad, it's not wrong, it's just the time we live in right now. Everything is so easily accessible. And so we don't need to be hard on ourselves about it or anything like that. It's just something that's a reality and that we need to realize. And then now that I've decided that I want to work against. And so as I was working on my meal planning system, here's what I was keeping in mind. 1, I wanted to limit this inventory that I had to manage. So I wanted to figure out a system where I could just really buy each week the things that we needed. Number 2, we're busy. We're in a busy season right now, so it had to be easy and practical, and I needed to be able to do it quickly every week or it was not going to get done. 3, I needed quick and easy meals on it. And so I have a column, I'm going to show you this sheet soon, but one of my meals is called quick meals, and I basically consider these like better than fast food. Like, hey, at least we didn't go to McDonald's. It might be corn dogs or, chicken nuggets or something like that. But again, at least we weren't eating out. We were eating at home, which is cheaper and usually a little bit healthier too, because at least I can throw like a fruit and veggie in with it as well. So this is what I had in mind as I was developing this system. So if these things don't apply to you, this system might not be for you, but that's okay. We can still be friends, and I'll see you in the next video, right? Okay, so now let's get to my meal planning sheet. So basically what I did was the top is my grocery list. And so I wanted an inventory in front of me of the things that I use all of the time. And so it probably took me 10 minutes to generate this, and then I fine-tuned it over a few weeks. But at the top is just all of the stuff that we normally buy, and it's arranged in the order that as I go through the grocery store, that this is the order that I come across these items. I'll talk about which grocery stores we use in the frequently asked questions section. And then at the bottom are the common meals that I cook. So again, here's my big encouragement to you is to pick 20 to 30 meals and stick to those for a season. we do like a 2-week rotation with meals. And honestly, nobody's gotten bored with it. And it has made my life so much easier because we'll still, go over to a friend's or my parents for dinner. We'll still go out to eat occasionally. And we still allow ourselves to eat out fast food once a week as we need to. So there's still variety in our diet, even though I'm cooking the same meals every night for dinner. And as I was creating this, I thought, if I get this mastered, then we can add more meals in. But honestly, the opposite has probably happened, that I actually cook fewer meals as we've stuck to this system because, like I've talked about before, it requires so much less brain power to cook meals that you already know how to cook. Like all of these meals on here, I can cook these in my sleep. And so at the end of the day, when I'm already tired, to just look and be like, okay, this is what's for dinner tonight, I can just go through it mindlessly and get it done. Okay, and then the other piece of it that has been super helpful was that I just got this marker board from the dollar store, and it's nice because it has magnets on the back so it sticks right to the fridge. So when I was looking at our food waste, there was 3 areas that I noticed the most. One was leftovers that weren't getting eaten up because you'd get shoved to the back of the fridge or for whatever reason, produce that went bad before we could eat it, and the third thing was things that got put in the freezer that I totally forgot about. And so that's why I came up with this board, which helps that. So I have a use up category. So this is things like I cooked extra hamburger but didn't make it into anything, or I have extra shredded chicken. So it's ready to go into another recipe, but it's not actually made into a food that could go in a lunch yet. And then we have leftovers. So, this is what I made for supper last night, now is in a container in the fridge. And this is really helpful for Tom when he's making a lunch to go, because then he can just look at this and know what he's looking for when he's opening the fridge trying to find something for lunch. And then this last section is where I put the meals we've selected for the week. And so now when I go to actually do my meal planning, I use both of these in conjunction. So I sit down with both of these, and what I do is I look at any foods that need to use up. So I'm like, okay, I have some ground beef in the freezer that can be tacos really easily, so I highlight tacos, and that's going to be one of our meals. So I base it on things we have to use up, things we already have in the pantry, and then things that we haven't had recently. And then once the meals are decided, then I use that to make my grocery list. So I'll literally walk around the kitchen with this, highlighting all of the things that we need based on these meals. Now, I used to have like a recipe binder with all the recipes in it, and I would flip through it trying to figure out the meals to make and then use that to make the... Because we've simplified our meals so much, I know right off the top of my head what ingredients are in all of these meals. So I can literally look at like, okay, chicken chili, like I can just highlight, I can glance in the pantry, do we need beans? Do we need diced tomatoes? And highlight, and I know. So that's one of the benefits of having the meals really simplified. But if you need the recipes in front of you for some of the meals, just create an extra sheet that just lists out the ingredients and keep that with your meal planning sheet. So then once I've highlighted all of the groceries we made, this is what I take with me as my shopping list to the grocery store. And then once I get back home, I cut off this bottom section, and that goes in the meals place on my marker board. And the top part, if I've made changes to it, because like I said, I revise this over a few weeks. If I've made changes to it and I want to keep it, I'll put it by my computer so I can make the adjustments to it. But otherwise, once I'm done shopping, I don't need the top portion anymore. So then the marker board with the meals goes back on the fridge, and then I pull out a new meal planning sheet and I hang that next to it. So then throughout the week, as things come up like, oh, we need ketchup, then I will highlight that or write it in on the sheet as well. So it's also my ongoing shopping list. So here is what I really appreciate about this system. 1, I feel very confident keeping a low inventory of groceries in our house now because I have a good system in place to replace them. 2, I love having a starting grocery list in front of me, especially for things like snack foods or things for the kids' school lunches. I just see it. Do we need applesauce? Do we need tortilla chips? And then I just highlight it on the list and keep going. I love having the list of meals at the bottom. Like I said in the past, I'd have like a binder to go through trying to think. And so this way, just having a really easy list to scan through, again, because we're in a busy season right now, it just feels very manageable and streamlined and easy. 4, by having my list laid out in the order that I go through the grocery store, I can get through it probably in half the time. I don't feel like I make impulse buys. I just look for the things that I need, and it's like the same things week after week. It has made grocery shopping so much easier and less stressful. The 5th thing that I really like is that when I go to the grocery store, I have my list, but then the meals I'm making are at the bottom. So if I get there and there's something on sale or clearance, especially like a meat product, it's really easy for me to say, okay, I'm just gonna switch, the meals that we're making this week because I have them written out right here. So I make a swap and it's easy and it's not a big deal. Okay, so I'm actually gonna do the frequently asked questions in a separate video, so you can look for a link to that down below. But I'll tell you, there are a few foods that we do stock up on. I'll let you know what those are, which grocery stores we use, my thoughts around coupons and different apps that you can use, as well as the services now where you order your groceries online and then can pick them up. So I'm gonna answer questions about all of those things in the next video coming up. And like I said before, you can find a link to this sheet down below so that you can create your own. And you might also find it helpful to check out my videos on simplifying your kitchen and our kitchen tour if you haven't seen those already, because I do think starting out with a simplified kitchen makes meal planning a lot easier and more manageable as well. And as always, the best compliment you can give us is a thumbs up, and we hope you subscribe so that we can keep in touch.